So I'm going to start this off by saying I am not a financial advisor. I do trade options. I have spent the last 4 to 5 years trading options. I have had ups and downs. I have taken $100 starting off in one of my brokerage accounts all the way up to almost 7,000 at one point. Ended up losing that all. Have dried up a couple of accounts. Not trying to get any pity, but still learning the market every day, still learning to trade much better. The main reasons for the losses have been from emotions and not from a technical or strategy standpoint. So huge shout out to people like Gerald Peters. I've bought his money flow system, to Rico of Fly Capital, to Taylor Keely of the trading advanced trading system that I just took recently, and to Sarah the STRAT Sniper, which I've watched her free YouTube videos along with being a part of the stat trading community. I am not affiliated with any of those as of now, but if you want to learn how to trade from some of these great traders that I just said, sign up for the newsletter down below so I can send you some information on some of their books and courses if you want to get started into this. So I'm recording this as a way for me to also journal my trades, but to share with you guys, especially if you're interested in trading. I can point you in the right direction when you register for the newsletter. So I do have a downtrend on Apple that I'm tracking. And of course, this is from Taylor's advanced strategy course that I ended up purchasing from him earlier this, actually in 2024 in September, is a parallel channel. Now, I've always checked parallel channels, especially when I'm trading on Apple. But of course, having it in a fashion like this wasn't what I would do. What I would do is pretty much I would draw my trend line from here to here and have it bounce up and down from that. But I didn't, before taking the course, I didn't really check to make sure that it was actually hitting down an opposite end, but also halfway through it. You can see that sometimes it does respect that, as you can see here, resistance on some portions, or actually that support or resistance on some other aspects. So I do have a couple of technical indicators here. Keys level is one that I have. I also have the Strat Assistant. I use the Strat mainly as my strategy. So huge shout out to Rico from Fly Capital. He's the one that kind of convinced me without personally doing it, just seeing it from his tweets. I have Thick Zones as somebody else that I follow. I don't use it that much. Actually, I might take that off. The range rush reversal from Key. And then I have the swing high and swing lows for the pivots. So when I go into the 12-hour mark, so this is what I got from Sarah, the Strat Sniper. She uses the 12-hour instead of the 1 day. And there was one time where it was a outside bar, which is a 3. And it showed up as a 3 on the 12-hour, but it showed up as a 2 on the 1 day. So I saw the discrepancies that she was talking about, and I ended up just making that change. So huge shout out to Sarah. I do have a high and low pivot right here, pivot point. So right when I noticed that this had hit this pivot point, and then you saw that swing high form up there with this line that you see from the indicator, and then that 2 down, that huge red 2 down, that's when I started to catch notice. And then I saw it on the week right here. It was on the month. Right there is when it triggered the month. But the other thing that caught my eye was that it was down on the year. And then it was also down on the month as well. So I started to take puts. So I am working on a paper trade account right now, starting off with a 250. It's an account or an amount that I've put into an account before. I've started with $100. I started with $250. I started with $1,000. I've even gone up to $2,500. Always fluctuated. Have brought up. I took that 2,500 into $5,000 at one point, and then ended up drying that up. All emotion based. So I went to take the emotion out of it with the actual cash and trade with just paper trading. And I will tell you that even with paper trading, my emotions are the same in terms of getting nervous when I enter a trade, getting nervous when it goes against me, wanting to potentially get out of it as if it was live because I have profit. But I have been taking these trades here on this parallel channel. I do like to get in and out just for my sanity's sake. But the biggest one that I had was recently I took this 2 down right here. And that 2 down was a week. I think this is one where, and my chart has changed a little bit just because it's a new week. But I took this 2 down, and I knew I should have waited. It was down on the month, and it started to go against me. So I like to trade on the 2-hour. So when I took that trade, I was down here. I knew I shouldn't have taken it on the gap, but it was down on the day. And you see here by this red candle that it opened here and then came down to close there. And I actually did take that because I thought it was actually going to go down to here, which it actually did. And I saw that it started to go up in this parallel channel here. So I know that in some cases this could be considered a bull flag. And I decided to keep with it because I knew that with the month being down, the year being down, I think at that point the week was up, so it was conflicting. But it was a bearish trend, and I noticed that we are in this bear trend as well, where with keys level, there's a cloud here that is, if you're under or underneath it or above it, it's a strong indicator of where the trend is really setting. So I figured, let me stay in the trade. I also had a broadening formation right here with this pivot point here. I knew that it took out this key point and it was going to cover this gap. So it actually did that. I had that broadening formation and I stuck with it. So then right as she broke here, so she took out everybody from the month that it took down, and of course filled the gap. I took her on the way back down here. So of course you could see that she flushed down to cover this gap and is starting to take down that previous pivot low. So she took down that previous pivot low, came back up a bit. I stuck with it, didn't want to panic or anything like that. I did see that there was profit into that. At one point with this, I was in that paper trade, I was like negative $200. And of course, if I was trading with real money, I would have been, of course, upset. And I was. It felt exactly the same way trading with paper. No differences and no motion. So I stuck with it. And I've done that even with live trades with real money put into it. So I stuck with it, and you could see that she started to come down to essentially hit that profit target, which was the bottom of the pivot point. Now, she is at full-time, I forgot what it's called. Sorry, guys. So she is she was. So it shows here that the quarter is up. And let me check real quick. Full time frame continuity. Sorry, that term escaped me while I was recording this real quick. So she hit that profit target. Now the quarter is down. So that's what I don't like sometimes about that indicator. The quarter's down. The year's down, the month is down. So everything is pointing for it to be on a downtrend. But now that it's hit that pivot point, and I know I have to be very careful with this, I wanted to essentially, I took the profit. I was above $400 in profit on a paper trade. And I did want to take this up to at least cover, because I know eventually it's going to cover this gap, but also we hit a pivot point and we took out the lows from that pivot point that was there before. I do like trading on the 2 hour, so there goes that pivot point. I do like trading on a actionable signal of the 2 hour, which is of course here the 2 down 2 up. I think if I went down to the 1 hour, you could see a little bit of a hammer there, or I forget what it's called. Not necessarily a hammer, or shooting star, I think is what they also call it. But essentially, that is actionable signal, 2 down 2 up. But I do like a little bit of extra data to go off of, so I go on the 2 down 2 up of a 2 hour candle. Some people go down as low as 15. I think on the 15 you probably had something there. Yeah, you had that 2 down 2 up. You even had this hammer here, and I would have set my stop loss here at that pivot point. So I would have taken the 2 hour, set my stop loss there, and you could see that it's still clear. I know that it is a bearish trend. I know we're at time frame continuities against me, but I know that it's also a slight reversal, and that I was going to take a trade to go at least to cover the gap here, or take out another high, which if I'm working on, it's funny, I'll take trades on the 2 hour, but then I'll look at the 4 hour a lot of the times for pivot points, or I'll look at the day for the pivot points. And here I would take it to cover that. I don't know, and of course, like I said, this is not financial advice. I don't know if it would take this pivot point out anytime soon, but I know that eventually it would take that gap out. So that would have been my trade. And of course, tomorrow's another day. If this does do a 2 up to come up, I probably will take that. And of course, I had, when I initially took that trade back, and you could see on January 13th, I did have the end of January, beginning of February as my contract expiration. Now I'm starting to swing instead of day trade, because I used to get cooked a lot of my trades. And I am getting 3 to 4, 5 weeks sometimes of expiration dates out. So that's just me journaling my trades, getting this out there just so that if you are interested in joining and learning how to trade, click down below to join our newsletter. We're going to have side hustles on there for busy parents, but also I can refer you to some amazing traders that not only have taught me through their courses, mentorship, Discord groups on doing this. And of course, this for me, this is 4 or 5 years into this. I have had my ups and downs, but getting better as the days go by, as the years go by. So definitely hit up the link down below, or you could DM me or comment back. I am not affiliated with any of them as of yet, so nothing comes from referring you over to them as of now. But hopefully in the future that changes, and definitely would love to get people into some of their worlds, because this definitely is game changing. It's definitely something that helps you out a lot as a side hustle. And if you want to start generating some extra income for your family, this is a great way to do it. Once you can get it down, it does take time, and I am not promising this to be anything as a get rich quick scheme or anything like that. It takes years, guys, and it does take a lot of your mental stress, and it taxes you a lot mentally and emotionally. But once you can get that down, that's what this game is about. And let me know what you thought about this video. Shout out to everyone that I included and named out in this video. Like I said, I am not affiliated with them at all at this point, but would love to change that up in the future. All right. Thanks, guys.